Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's edition of Speak Your Soul. This is episode 16 of Speak Your Soul. So I hope everybody can see me out there. I'm testing this out for the first time. So right now, I should, if I've done this correctly, I should be streaming everywhere. There we go. I am. Good job. So today on Speaker Soul, this is episode 16. Once again, I am your host, Shantae, coming to you live from IG, from Facebook, from Twitch, from everywhere, from Anchor. I'm everywhere right now today. But I just wanted to jump on here as usual. I'm doing a special prime time edition at 7 o'clock of Speak Your Soul today because I really wanted to share a few things with you guys and just kind of talk real transparency with you guys. That's why the name of this today's episode is called With All Transparency. So for everyone, once again, thank you guys for supporting. So many of you guys are going on Anchor. .fm/Speaker Soul. A lot of you have subscribed to my IG page, my Instagram, my Facebook, and I really want to say thank you guys for all the love that you guys have given to Speak Your Soul. It's been amazing. The fact that we're at episode 16 with so much more to do in this, I'm so humbled and appreciative of every single last one of you guys. Once again, Speak Your Soul, thank you to Crystal Lott for these amazing shirts that she makes for me. So thank you so much for all that you do. And once again, just supporting Black businesses. But want to start today's episode off with just something that's kind of come across over the last couple of days, well, mainly yesterday. So for you guys that know me, know that I'm a very intuitive, very loving, very giving type of a person, right? And so it is what happens when your strong friend reaches that breaking point, right? What happens? And so a lot of times we kind of let that strong friend go, thinking that they're strong enough to be able to continue to continue to be strong, continue to be a friend, continue to be able to carry on, and they're strong enough that they don't need anybody to help them or they don't need anything in their life. But I'm here to bear witness and use myself in this particular scenario. Guys, you just can't assume that your quote unquote strong friends are going to be okay. Case in point, yesterday I just wasn't having it. Yesterday I couldn't muster up the sunshine. I couldn't muster up enough enthusiasm to even to remotely do, get ready for Speak Your Soul. Normally I drop a post on Tuesday with the topic of what we're going to discuss on Speak Your Soul for the previous day. I didn't even have enough energy to do that. And so I kind of put something out there on Facebook that said, today I just don't have it. And so thank you to all those people that responded and said, it's going to be okay. You're just having a moment, giving virtual hugs and everything like that. For all the people that were really, really trying to help me out in that, I thank everyone for doing that. But it's just one of those things to where you can't assume that everybody's okay, especially with everything that's going on right now. I sincerely encourage you to make sure that you're checking on the people that matter to you, that you're checking on your friends, that you're checking on your family, and that you're making sure that they're okay. Now, the big thing about me is it's very easy to look at me and say, "Oh, she does Speak Your Soul. She's a poet. She does all these things, so she's good, she's positive. She's always giving love. She's always doing this." Once again, don't always assume that somebody is just good. You always want to check up. You always want to make sure. You always want to make sure the same way that that person is for you, that you give that back. And yesterday, it just, I just, there was like I said, kudos to those that reached out, but nobody really picked up the phone and was just like, hey, Shantae, what's going on? What's happening? I have somebody that jumped into my messenger. Thank you, sis, for doing that. But that's the thing that kind of leads people to just kind of stay to themselves and really become recluse. And then those people are the ones that just all of a sudden decide to take their own lives because they so used to being strong for other people. They're so used to listening to people on the phone, sharing of themselves, sharing and giving of their time, that when it's time for that same energy to be reciprocated onto them, all of a sudden there's nobody there. So it's always important that you make sure that you're checking up on the people that matter the most to you. Like, I can't express that enough. Making sure that you take care of your friends the same way that they take care. And let me explain something to you. I'm not all it's cracked up to be. I am very much flawed. I am not perfect in any shape, form, or fashion. God is still yet working on me. And I will be the first one to say that straight out of my mouth. But even with that being said, you still have to make sure that, people don't mistake that and just once again just think that you just got it going on and that there's nothing wrong with you. Yesterday was a very trying day. It just was. And so sometimes I say, you know what? I just rather be by myself. I'd rather be alone. But in this particular instance, yeah, I was looking for somebody to come and be like, hey, you know what? I get it. The times are rough right now. You got police killing people. You got women getting kidnapped and murdered. It's a lot going on right now. Black Lives Matter is just the beginning. We have somebody in office that just doesn't give a damn about anybody right now and just wants to see everybody just go out. And that alone is stressful. But I'm gonna tell you something about me. If I if I put any information out there about I can't, something is going on in my personal life, that trust me, you need to understand that there's an issue there. There's something going on there. And so once again, I just need you to understand your strong friends, the people that absorb all of this in, that are always there for you when you need them, the ones that never complain, the one that's always got you. You need to make sure that that person is getting taken care of. It's one thing to for one, first of all, that person needs to also be tough and making sure that they have their getting their self-love. If I wasn't a person that wasn't so in tune with who I am and what my strengths and weaknesses are and me as a person, trust me, that could have went way left yesterday. Because I know who I am, because I know that I'm flawed, and that I have strengths and weaknesses, that's the number one thing that snapped me out of that eventually, regardless if no one called me, if no one anything to me. So I need you to understand, for all my strong friends out there, I feel you. You're on the phone, you're letting somebody talk, you're letting people vent. You take all of that and you're absorbing all of that information in you. You feel, I'm a very positive person. And sometimes I don't have an agenda. Sometimes it's just strictly Shantae. Now, it's one thing that I have this platform, this amazing platform, Speak Your Soul. I thank God for it. I thank God for being able to come on here on Wednesday at 5 o'clock or 7 o'clock or whatever it is and be able to talk to you guys. But at the end of the day, I'm still Shantae. I still watch sports. I still play video games. I still talk about random stuff with my friends. Like, I do have a personal life. I'm not on a microphone or on TV or on doing something 24/7. Trust me, there's a reason I'm not famous or AKA infamous. There's a reason why I have just this small platform that I've created just because I wanted to be able to talk about, like I said, for those of you that have listened to Speak Your Soul or watched, to talk about music, to talk about art, to talk about photography, to celebrate the things that I love the most. And sometimes I don't want to do that. Sometimes I just want to be silly. I want to be goofy. I want to be entertaining. I just want to do things my way. And I feel like I can't step off of my platform and just be myself and just, you know, say, hey, what's going on? Hey, or jump on IG Live and be like, hey, what's going on? What you doing? You know, what's happening here? So I just need people to understand that you have to make sure that you're not these people. Just like we judge a lot of celebrities, but me, myself, with doing interviews and being in the media field for as long as I have, and with technology in the technology field, I totally understand that when it's time at the end of the day, that celebrity is still a human. And right now, there's just so much talk about, well, oh, did you see this person do this? And did you see this person do that? At the end of the day, they're still a human being. They put their socks on one sock at a time. They put their pants on one pants leg at a time. And so I think a lot of times we are quick to say, to typo somebody and say, oh, well, that's who you are. You know, you're this, you're that. Instead of understanding that that person at the end of the day is still a human being. They still have feelings. They still get hurt. They still have problems. They still have struggles. They still have other things that are going on in their life that people probably couldn't even imagine. But sometimes we are so quick to judge, to jump down the throat of, to, you know, to really, you know, be mean or to ignore people's issues and problems that they're going through. Wonder why ultimately something happens to these people, or they have a nervous breakdown or whatever it is. So I thank God for, you know, for my strength and building myself, breaking myself down and building myself up, because it's made me the person that I am right now. That in those moments, in those darkest moments when you just can't even fathom your thought process and you're down and you don't have the energy to give it a go, when you're just super depressed and nothing can really cheer you up. How many times have people told me or said something, whispered behind my back and said something, hey, Shantae, I don't like, you know, or said something to my face, hey, Shantae, I don't like your cut. Hey, Shantae, I don't like your makeup. You know, and sometimes people are honest enough to say that to my face, and sometimes they'll say that behind my back. But trust me, if you're not secure in the person that you are, and you haven't built that self foundation of love and appreciation for who you are, flaws and all, makeup and all, without makeup, whatever it may be. So yesterday was a day I really had to do some really deep diving into myself and really trying to get an understanding on, you know, what is it? What was really bothering me? And what was bothering me is that sometimes people just assume because you're a beacon of positivity, or you're out in the community, or every time they see you, you have a platform, you have a message, that you don't have those days where you don't really want to be bothered, where you really just want to hang out, chill, be silly, and just kind of do you. So don't always judge a book. Don't assume that that person is just one way. Always get to know that person completely and understand the inner workings of that person. And so I jump on here every week, you know, and give you just content, constant content, you know, piece after piece. But there are very few people that I can say that are probably watching this live right now that truly know who Shantae Houston really, truly is. And, you know, I thank God for you and I appreciate you, because people know I'm silly, I'm goofy, I'm funny. I love cracking jokes. I love to make people laugh. I love. The first thing I say before I meet you or even meeting you is that I love you. And not just because I love to pay it forward as far as with love and positivity in life. That's who I am. Now, when I'm away from everybody, I'm introverted. I want to be completely away from people. Don't really want to speak, but I'm kind of both. I'm extroverted, introverted. So, but once again, before you assume and before you speak on something, please make sure that you know that person fully, know everything about them, know the ins and outs, know that okay, yes, you're capable of doing this, but you're also this as well. And so, like I said, yesterday was just a moment where it was just kind of a breaking down of my spirit. And it took a lot of positive kind of readings. It took a lot of, just kind of reading the scripture, reading the Bible, watching some movies, even though I probably shouldn't have watched Mama Flora's Family because I just ended up in bloody tears. I don't know what I did there for. But Mama Flora's Family, for anybody who hasn't seen it, please go watch that movie. It's another Cicely Tyson classic, but I digress. So at the end of the night, in all transparency, at the end of the night, I'm starting to kind of catch myself. I'm starting to get my second wind about me. I'm starting to kind of get over this little funk that I'm in. And then I remember that yesterday was the 25-year anniversary of Phyllis Hyman's death. And once again, I was transported to a place where, I thought about what happened in that moment, how I felt in that moment. If anybody knows me, I'm all about singers. Love singers, love love just everything about music, and I have my particular favorites. Phyllis Hyman, I call the voice, because you could pretty much give Phyllis Hyman anything and she could just kill it. Whether it was, school days or whatever it may be, or you can give her opera, you could give her jazz. She was just so transformational in regards to what she can do. And she was one of my favorite singers growing up. So in 1995, to my dismay, I must have been, what, about 15 years old or so, to see on the news and to hear that she committed suicide was huge for me, because at 15 you don't understand what suicide and what that stuff. I mean, you understand it, but you don't think that celebrities would ever do such a thing. So for her, especially because, come on, Phyllis Hyman was a beautiful African American woman. I mean, hair, she always looked statuesque. She was, head up, shoulders back. She was modeling at one point. So when you see someone like that, beautiful, with so much talent, never in your wildest dreams would you imagine that there would be depression or anxiety or loneliness in somebody as talented and beautiful as someone like Phyllis Hyman. So in 1995, that pretty much shook up my world, to see a singer, somebody that I admired, someone that I thought was just the most beautiful model slash actress slash singer, one of the best in the world. And to see her have this, and to see this unfold on my TV screen in 1995, that she committed suicide, and the fact that she left an actual suicide note and said, I'm tired. I'm tired. And ultimately, in in her life, just like that. And then everybody called it a tragedy, that all of that happened to her, and that she was depressed for some time, and alone, and all that kind of stuff. And a lot of that is reflected in some of her later work. But just all of that, the culmination of that, plus the type of day that I was having, just really kind of summed up a lot. But you know a lot of people are talking about suicide during this time, because of everything that's going on, because there is so much pain and frustration and anger and all this stuff going on in the world. And for some people, you can tell them, hey, it's going to be okay, it's going to be all right, you're going to get through this. But ultimately, you just never know to the extent of somebody's heart and what they're truly going through. The only person that really truly knows what everyone is going through is God. And so ultimately, you have to kind of give that over to him and let him kind of work his magic on people. But it is important that you check in with your friends, check in with your family, make sure that everybody's okay. I mean, there's so many things right now we're dealing in the world with, with COVID and all these things that are happening right now, and all these everything that's going on in the world right now, that it's overwhelming to everyone. And you can feel the weight of this on mothers, on new mothers that are getting ready to bring children into the world for the first time, on African American men that are out there working, that are still working in the middle of COVID, that are basically being told that your lives are really not as important as you thought they were, because you're going to continue to work during this time while these numbers are skyrocketing out of the roof. I've been contacted several times during this time frame by, some of my employees, and they're just like, this is what's going on, or, I can't do this. I'm at a breaking point. I've got somebody that had two seizures in the same day, two. And I absolutely couldn't believe it, because the level of stress that's happening right now with everything that's going on is putting so much of a strain on people that their health is starting to get affected, let alone if they, if anybody has actual COVID-19. So there's so many different things out there that's overwhelming, that you think about, am I going to die today? Am I going to get killed today? Is someone going to decide that today is their day and they're going to do some type of harm to me? Now we got people walking around getting guns and getting registered to get guns because just trying to go to a peaceful protest. We got somebody that's hanging out in the crowd ready to take people out. There's just so much, and people are bearing that weight, and they're taking it in and they're holding it in and they're not letting it go. And we ask this in the African American community: who do we confide in? Who do we talk to? Well, the answer is you have to talk to someone. You have to be able to get those frustrations or those concerns or that anxiety. You have to be able to get it out. You can't keep it in you, because that is literally a slow death. You can't. You can try to be strong for your family, but in the end, who's going to be strong for you? And like I said, with all transparency, those days starting to happen more frequently than not. When you think about it, you can be strong while you want to, but in the end, who's going to be strong for you? Who can you call on? Who can you run to? Who's going to be there for you? Of course, there's God, yes. But at the end of the day, you still would like to have someone that you can talk to, someone that that understands you, someone that cares about you. And at the end of the day, to be honest with you, if there is no one, there's always you. And it starts with you. I can't stress self-love enough. I write about it. I talk about it. It is something that I truly believe in. Thank you, Brandon, for the reminder. If I didn't already remind myself to take care of myself, that when these moments happen, it's okay to just stop and and just take a moment, breathe, get you something to eat, if that's what you do, or just completely tune everything down. But for me, breathing is the number one thing that helps me just kind of calm my system down and just get through whatever it is that I'm going through. Like I said, that works for me. That may not necessarily work for everyone, but you have to find some way to get it out, to get whatever that's bothering you, that's frustrating you, that's angering you. Because what happens is you keep that locked in, and you got many choices that's going to happen to you when it's all said and done. You're either going to take that out on somebody else, or you're going to take it out on yourself. And that's ultimately what's been happening. A lot of people have been taking it out on themselves or taking it out on someone else. And so there's so much going on. Had a conversation with some friends about voting and what voting truly means. Texas, this is our time. This is our time to shine. Early voting has started in Texas. Kudos to everyone that has gotten out. I still am scheduled to go in a couple of days, but this is where we start. A couple of episodes ago, we talked about it, and I couldn't stress enough misinformation and the importance of getting out there and voting. There's still a lot of misinformation being sprinkled around. There's still a lot of people that are spreading stories that are not true. So I encourage everyone, check your facts, know what's going on, take care, before you start circulating any of these stories or rumors or whatever it is, make sure you know what's going on. But I mean, in all transparency, there's so much going on. It's easy for us to get kind of caught under the madness of everything that's going on right now. So the beauty about Speak Your Soul and why this platform is important to me is because I try to keep this as lighthearted as I possibly can. I try to make sure that I'm giving you guys some type of love or positivity or just having fun, just kick back, me kind of discussing topics that I just happen to run across, or like I said, are talking about music or talking about art, and then, maybe even bringing somebody onto the show. And so for us to have a conversation. So this in ultimate, and if you really want to get to it or break it down, this in a way is my outlet. This is my therapy. The ability to be able to come in here and talk to you guys on a weekly basis helps me get a lot of the things that I go through out. And so trust me, that's why at the end of these things, at the end of Speak Your Soul, I'm exhausted because I've talked to you guys and I've gotten everything out, all the things that were on my brain, everything I could possibly ever think about. I'm just getting it out, just getting it out, getting it out. And trust me, I feel so relieved and energized and so inspired, for the people that are getting an opportunity to watch this. You don't understand that when I post poems or when I post anything under Speak Your Soul, people are hitting my inbox saying, you know what, that was a message for me. I needed to hear that today. Yes, I was feeling that way, and you really made my day. Or, hey, I got a good laugh at what you said on Speak Your Soul today. I just wanted to know, thank you for giving me that smile in the midst of everything that's going on in my life right now. Or I'm going through a relationship, and some of the topics that you guys talk about on your show really, really helped me kind of get a better understanding on how men and women feel about different conversations or different topics or whatever it is. So I thank everyone that watches Speak Your Soul, and I use that information that you guys give me, that feedback that you guys give me, to make sure that I keep funneling that through more and more of the episodes and the content that I do here on Speak Your Soul. I hear you guys when you give me, just like today's topic that we're about to get into in just a second. And Antoine Rogers III, a good friend of mine, aka Tony, gave me today's topic that I posted a little bit earlier today. I know normally, I apologize, normally I get that information to you guys on Tuesday, but I had to go ahead and spring it on today, and then I decided to do a little bit of a later, like I said, a prime time edition of Speak Your Soul. But before I get into today's topic, if anybody knows me, knows that I'm a big sports fanatic. Huge sports. Whether that's football, basketball. Heck, I even do tennis. So I used to play tennis back in the day. So with all of that being said, I can't really go without giving my 2 cents about the NBA, and as everybody gets ready to start practice and get ready to go back to what we assume will be the new normalcy in regards to sports is concerned. And so a lot of people have been kind of jumping down LeBron James's throat and some of these people that want to actually get out there and do and actually get back to their craft, their art. And so, I don't blame them for doing that. And I don't blame the people that want to do something different, that don't want to get caught up in the whole politics of it all. So the fact that they're going to wear or paint the court or whatever, Black Lives Matter, or they're going to wear something symbolizes it. I think the strongest message that the NBA really can send is just all of them being united with one decision, whether it be to play or not to play. And so that's something that I believe that the NBA has total control over. So if they really want to send a message, if they really want to, make a big statement this year, whether it be the same thing with football, it's amazing to me that all of a sudden now that Colin Kaepernick, now everybody wants him. Yay, we want Colin or not, but nobody wanted him when all the controversy first began. So sports right now, as we know, there's nothing that's going to actually be normal about basketball and football and baseball and stuff like that as we know it. Not even the wrestling events or the UFC events are actually normal at this point. So at this point, the choice is really up to the players to dictate what we're going to see going forward in regards to the new normalcy. But yeah, as much as much of a sports fan as I am, I still um, I still want them to unite together and make a decision that's going to best suit everybody. I know everybody would prefer that they go back to playing, but with more cases and more NBA players and more football players getting COVID-19, I think that's also going to make a big decision on what they do going forward. But regardless, I just think that whatever sport, whatever entertainment, whatever people do, they just need to make sure that they do it united and that it's one decision that all of them make. And if they're going to make a statement, that they do it all together and not these people over here are doing doing one thing and these people are doing another, because it's just going to cause more and more of a division. And the last thing that we need is to be divided during this time. There's so much going on right now. There's so much division. Even in Black Lives Matter, there's so much division. So many people believe it should be done this way, or this is how this is how you show your support by doing this. So they're even within all of this that we're doing right now with all the protests. It's people that believe that we should be protesting this way and people that believe that we should be doing something else. So the last thing that we need is to show that we're not united, because then it's easy for them to just kind of pick apart every single last thing that we're doing. So that's kind of my 2 cents on sports right now. Trust me, would I love to see LeBron go for the championship? Would I love to see Giannis go for the championship and get their just due? I do. Like I said, I'm a sports fan, but I just feel that whatever they do going forward, they need to make sure that they do it as a united front and as a team. But anyway, for those of you Speak Your Soul lovers, now is the time for me to get in today's topic. Like I said, which comes from Tony. So Tony, I hope you're watching out there. Prime time, 7 p.m. Speak Your Soul, episode 16, with all transparency. So Tony gave me this topic last week. So let's get into it. So the big thing about this particular topic is that when we look at it, it's just a huge statement that's being made. So he literally gave me something that said, and I'll get it up here for you guys so I can read it in its entirety. And I had to do a bit of some research and kind of break this topic down a little bit. That's why when people didn't respond, I'm just like, that's great, because I'm going to break this down a little bit in what I was able to find on this. So it says, what do men want in a woman? That's kind of a blanket statement. That's kind of a loaded question because there's so many different answers to that one particular question. That's why, like I said, I wasn't mad for those people that really didn't answer. But I'll read what the statement says. Broken men want fixers. Immature men want mothers. Good men want partners. Hardworking men want supporters. Lazy men want enablers. Insecure men want puppets. Abusive men want objects. And men of God want their rib. So thank you, Tony, for this. I can't really call this a topic, more like a statement. And then, like I said, let's break this down a little bit further. So, broken men want fixers. That's true to a certain extent, I believe. I believe that if that man is broken, they definitely want a woman to come in that's going to say, you know what, I can fix it, I can take care of it, and I can take care of you. And there are a bunch of those relationships out, and I'll be the first one to raise my hand and say, hey, I've been in a couple of those, but in regards to that, that's not really sustainable. You have to look at some of these scenarios and look at the combination of what type of man to what type of woman they want in this particular situation. A broken man needs to be able to fix himself, hands down. There's not a woman that's going to be able to come into your life that's going to be like, oh, hey, yeah, I can love you and I can fix you and I can everything. If that man was broken, that's something that he has to fix on his own. And only his own self-love for himself is going to be able to fix that. So I found that quite interesting. Broken men want fixers. Immature men want mothers. Yeah, I had, like I said, had a couple of those too. Like I said, with all transparency. So there's just something that a mother, a son that's really uh, that's so used to having his mother around, his mother take care of him, and his mother do everything for him. She does the cooking, she does the cleaning, up until his for a long period of time. So if you're dealing with somebody and they're just getting out of a relation, if they're just leaving their mother, or their mother has just recently passed away or something like that, they're going to be quick to find somebody that will do those things for them, that's going to support them on a level or take care of them on a level, and clean everything and wash everything and cook and kind of spoon feed and say, oh, that's okay, baby, I got it. So yes, there are always going to be guys or men that want that particular type of woman in their life. Is that a sustainable relationship? In some instances, it can be if that woman is willing to accept that in that role as a mother. And to me, mothers, that women that are already mothers or mothers, themselves, going into a relation like that are more subject to be able to take care of those type of guys, because they're so used to being the nurturer. They're so used to being a mom, to where those particular relationships with guys that are looking for someone like their mom tend to work for them. In that particular instance, I say to each his own. It didn't really work out for me, but you never know. So that's always a big one there. So good men want partners. That's a given. So, that's typically the type of relationship that a lot of men and a lot of women, good men, good women, are searching for. They're looking for someone that really can be a partner to them, that really can do this 50-50. That decisions that have to be made, that, whatever growth that has to be, that they're both able to endure, or to be able to take the lead. And so that's another topic that we talked about on Speaker Soul. Women that have these, that want to be leaders, and how that that doesn't necessarily work out for some guys. But I believe that men do truly want somebody to partner with them, for an actual partnership. And so a lot of times we don't get to see that happen. We see other scenarios, but I truly believe that a good man really wants to have a partnership with his wife and they do things together as a unit, whether it be buying a house, cars, whatever. That's something that they make decisions as together, to do. So I ended up going on YouTube and I looked up and I found this random video where this guy was literally breaking down all the steps. He literally entitled it how to get a man, or how to keep a man in a relationship, or something like that. I can't exactly remember what the title was. But one of the first things he said was hold men accountable. And I found that very interesting. So I'm like, please, with all due respect, please explain. So when he started talking about good women hold good men accountable in these relationships, and that's what men want from women. And so he went on to explain that holding them accountable, meaning that a woman doesn't just let the man get away with all these other things. If he cheats, you know, if he goes out and stays out too late, I'm done. So he was saying that for those women that are just constantly letting men do the same things over and over again, to cheat on them, to stay out at night, to be very disrespectful of their time, you know, that relationship's not going to work, because that man's not going to respect you. And as a matter of fact, that man's probably going to end up pitying you. So with that being said, he went on to say, one of the biggest things is to be a good listener to your mate or to your man. That's how you keep your man. Supporting him, which I truly believe, and that's also one of the things on this list is men want supporters, and where was it? Hardworking men want supporters. So if you're a good, hardworking man, you definitely want a harder partner, and you definitely want somebody that's going to support you. And so that's huge. Now that one, I have to give him 2 thumbs up. You have to be able to support. There's so many things that I do on a daily basis. My thought process, I'm constantly working, constantly writing stuff. I'm still working on Speak Your Soul, a Love anthology. I'm still working on that it's supposed to be coming out at the end of this year. But still, even if I'm dealing with someone else, I have to understand that just as I want him to support me, I have to be able to support him and let him know that he is being supported. Also, he talked about listening to him, and being a good listener. I totally get that, totally understand that. I'm a good listener. And so I would want, once again, it's a give and take, right? I want somebody to listen to me. So I'm going to listen to him. So he came up with 4 things ultimately that he talked about: holding a man accountable, being a good listener, being a supporter, and it was one more thing. And what's so funny is that it had nothing to do with, and he said, I know you women are going to think that you know the answer to these questions, but it had nothing to do with sex. It was being good, supporting him, listening to him, holding him accountable. And I literally can't remember what the 4th one was. It'll come to me just randomly, just like that. But I had to agree with some of the things that he was saying. Now, is those things the be all, the end all in regards to what men want in a relationship? I don't think that's all men. Not all men have those same thought processes or that same, feeling. But it's amazing just even thinking that somebody would actually do a YouTube video on how to keep or sustain a relationship with a man, or these are the things that men want from a woman. So that's the same thing I think about when I think about this list. Like, lazy men want enablers, insecure men want puppets. And so, I mean, there's men want, in the stage of their life, men could want different variations of everything. It's only to where the man himself truly understands what he is, will he truly understand what he's looking for. And so as this statement goes, Of course, yeah, there's a lot of things that a specific type of man is going to want. But I'm hoping at the end of the day that all men want someone that's going to be loving, that's going to be respectful. Like I said, somebody, like he said, that's going to be respectful, someone that's going to hold them accountable, a woman that's going to listen and just literally have those particular traits, like that's in them. So maybe he's on to something. And this guy has tons of different videos. Like I said, I wish I knew the guy's name, but he has tons of different videos: how to get a man, how to keep a man. And I'm just like, it's amazing what you'll find on YouTube. But you know, when it comes to guys, when it comes to men, like I said, it's based on that particular guy, what stage of his life that he's in, knowing himself. Once again, I always tell women to practice self-love and self-care. That's the same thing that I would say right now to any man that's on this live. The same thing that women are practicing, getting to take care of themselves and love themselves. For those of you that are in relationships or not in relationships, please make sure that you're taking care of yourself. You matter too. Your mental health matters too. You know what you do, whether that's if that's going to get a haircut, taking a bubble bath, going fishing, whatever it may be. Just you need your own time to really truly get to know who you are, what you want, and therefore once you know who you are and what you want, then you can start to narrow down what type of female that you're looking for. But I don't disagree with this list. Thank you, Tony, once again for giving this to me. People are going to send stuff, and I more than welcome anybody that if there's something you want to talk about on Speak Your Soul, I'm all for it. If there's something that you want to discuss, it could be music related, art, poetry, whatever it is, let's talk about it. So anchor.fm/Speak Your Soul is the actual anchor page where that holds all of the actual voice recordings of Speak Your Soul. It's also a Speak Your Soul podcast YouTube channel, which I'm actually should be streaming live to. If I'm not, then I'll download this onto that later on. There's also Twitch for those that are following me on IG. I'm live right now on IG as well. That is Speak Your Soul podcast, or SYS podcast as well. So once again, as I get ready to put an end or a close onto today's episode of Speak Your Soul, just pretty much summing up with all transparency, making sure that you guys are in on and getting to really know and understand who your friends are, know what they do, what their interests are, and don't assume that you know everything there is to know about them. Also, taking the time to understand when that friend is kind of at a breaking point and they know that they're not going to really make it, or they're having doubts about themselves. We all get there. We all have moments where we're not our best, we're not 100%, we're not all together, and sometimes it takes someone to reach out, just to say, hey, I see you, I understand what's going on, I know you're reaching a breaking point right now, but trust me, I love you, and it's going to get better, and just move on from there. Just remember who you are. And I think that's kind of the revelation I had yesterday. I just remember who I am and how much I genuinely, truly, and this, I hate to make this sound like it's kind of superficial or that I'm whatever, but I had to realize just how much I truly love myself. And I know all of you have to get to that point where you can say, hey, I love me, so I'm good. So with that being said, I actually have a poem for you guys. I'm not going to give it to you right now. I will drop it as soon as I finish uploading all of this episode of Speak Your Soul onto Anchor and onto YouTube and everything like that. So for those that are following me on IG, I'm going to drop it. For those of you that are following me here on Facebook Live, I'm going to drop that poem a little bit later on in the next 30 minutes to an hour. It's something I've been working on all week, and I really, really think you guys are going to enjoy it. Once again, another Speak Your Soul spoken word. All of these poems that I drop on my Speak Your Soul page and on any social media platform are poems that are actually going to be copyrighted and put in, or already copyrighted and already are going to be a part of Speak Your Soul, the Love Anthology. So I hope you guys are enjoying it right now, because this will be a part of my book that I will be releasing at the end of this year. So Miss Shantae has been very, very, very busy. Once again, big shout out to Crystal Lott and Enticing Custom Designs for all the beautiful shirts that they've done. This one I love the most. On the back, it says, once again, my what I say at the end of every single last Speak Your Soul, which is, don't forget to speak your soul. And so that's it for episode 16. With all transparency of Speak Your Soul, take the time, love yourself, love each other, check on your strong friends, and we'll talk about this all again next week. All right, take care.